Well, I won the award for a couple stories. One was about a Navy destroyer program that had been around for a while, for years, in fact. Another was about a special fund that the Congress set up over in the Pentagon to basically continue earmarks, but kind of outsource them to the Defense Department. And what I was trying to say at the National Press Foundation is that it struck me that these stories were all kind of out there, but people had sort of ignored the programs over the years because it wasn't new, but it was nonetheless important. And I was able to find out how many billions of dollars had been spent on these projects with not a whole lot to show for it. Yeah, some of these stories, the details of them, came from reports that were publicly available by, as you point out, the Government Accountability Office, Congressional Research Service, and others, including the legislation that Congress produces. And also, I have found it helpful to talk, typically on background or even off the record, with the authors of those reports to make sure I understand them and maybe to learn something that didn't quite make it into the report. And so that's been a very fruitful place to look for me. I find that they are very helpful. I say the norm is that they talk rather than the exception. Well, it struck me that these organizations that we've just been talking about didn't just arise by accident. They exist because lawmakers in years gone by had the foresight to create them in law. And so they can now do their work, sometimes because Congress has asked them to pursue something, sometimes it's on their own initiative. But they were created because somebody had a good idea somewhere down the line. And then there are also specific reports that Congress has required, like about weapons testing and weapons cost, and those kind of things are hugely helpful to the press and the public. They are also excellent sources. There's a whole spate of think tanks. Some of them take money from defense contractors, many of them do, and so you have to take with a grain of salt some of their analysis. But there are others that are a bit more independent in the think tank world. The Pentagon is not very helpful in general. Their public affairs apparatus is slow and just not. My experience is that they're more interested in thwarting information getting out there than they are in fostering a free flow of information. Now there are exceptions, of course. But I would say that the rule, and this is something that I don't think has notably changed too much, has been that they are not terribly helpful. And I think it has gotten a little bit worse under this administration in terms of restriction of information.